This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Tuesday today and that means a top 5 list, and the topic under discussion, as you've no doubt seen from the thumbnail and the title, is that of what I think is the unsung hero in many a rock band. The person who, along with the bass player and the drummer, provides the groove and the swagger that underpins everything, whilst the lead vocalist or the lead guitar player is basking in the glory of the limelight and no doubt whittling away some virtuoso guitar solo. I am, of course, talking about the rhythm guitarist. This came to me because I noticed recently that I think a lot of my favourite bands, not all of them, but a lot of my favourite bands tend to be two guitar bands, and there's always a solid rhythm guitar player going on. So I thought I'd do a top 5 list. So here are my 5 favourite rhythm guitar players, starting with
Keith Richards.
Yeah, Keith Richards. Years ago, I'm talking probably back in the 90s, I remember Charlie Watts was being interviewed on some radio show. I remember it was late at night, might have been Whispering Bob Harris's show on the BBC. Anyway, Charlie was saying that basically, the entire band played, including the drummer, played to the groove that Keith was creating rather than the drummer setting the pace. And you think of all the great, Stones songs. I'm thinking of like that sort of classic early to mid 70s period albums like Exile on Main Street springs to mind. That never gets old, that album, or any of those albums from that period. And I think it's in large part because of, Keith and his I mentioned the word swagger earlier on, and no doubt that's a phrase that's going to crop up throughout this video. Just his inherent kind of swagger that he plays with, and just that groove and that way that he has of, just kind of being in the pocket, but being able to kind of lag behind the beat a little and kind of sometimes push it forward. Again, as Charlie said, the whole band played to the groove that Keith was creating. So yeah, he had to be on the list. Next,
Malcolm Young.
Yes, indeed. You think of AC/DC and you think of the guitar kind of element of AC/DC's music, and no doubt you're already picturing Angus in your mind. School uniform, duck walking across the stage, an SG, and all that sort of stuff. But, it's Malcolm that is the riff guy in AC, or was the riff guy in AC/DC. And, it's the riff that grabs you with an AC/DC song, isn't it? Some of my favourites, like maybe a Deep Dive, a Deep Cut, Shot Down in Flames from the Highway to Hell album. I might do a top 5 AC/DC video, but Shot Down in Flames, which I think it was towards the start of side 2 on the vinyl version of the album. Great song, and just da 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 da, that riff that comes in, pure simple genius from Malcolm there. And Back in Black, obviously, and Highway to Hell, and You Shook Me All Night Long, and the list goes on. And all of these great classic songs, and I do believe that they are just classics. I think that people are going to look back at tracks like that in 100 years' time and, still smile and tap their feet when they listen to them. And it's all driven by Malcolm's kind of simple, powerful, groovy riffing. And you can't talk about great rock rhythm guitarists without mentioning Malcolm, so hence why he's on the list. Next,
Izzy Stradlin.
Yeah, Appetite for Destruction. I still listen to it. I will admit that Axl's voice grates on me a little bit, and I can see why many people I've spoken to say, yeah, but Axl, I just can't get past his voice. But that aside, the guitar playing on that album, Slash's lead playing, I mean, come on. When that album came out, the entire rock guitar world was full of people with, bleached blonde hair and spandex and encrusted in Max Factor and L'Oreal products, usually with some kind of Dayglow pink or lime green or leopard print guitar with a pointy headstock and a single humbucker and a Floyd Rose. And then along comes this bloke in a leather jacket and jeans with a Les Paul, and just knocks it out of the park. Slash, that was the thing that grabbed me. But then when the Use Your Illusion albums came out and Izzy had departed and we had, Gilby Clarke on rhythm guitar. There's my phone pinging. It just didn't have the same kind of, here's that word again, swagger and groove that Izzy's rhythm guitar playing had lent to Appetite for Destruction. I've heard a lot of people talking about, Stephen Adler's drumming being a bit below par on Appetite for Destruction, but I don't notice it. What I really notice when I've stopped listening to Appetite for Destruction and I put on a Use Your Illusion album is just the rhythm guitar work just seems a lot more grunty and powerful and groovy on Appetite. So that's why Izzy's on the list. Next.
Steve Cropper.
Yeah, Steve Cropper. He would do the odd little bit of lead, I suppose, and there's another person coming next on this list who you could also say that about. But, primarily he was known, or is known as, the groovy rhythm guitar player in, on all those great Stax soul records, Booker T and the MGs, the Blues Brothers as well. And apparently the whole kind of rhythmic groove of those Stax records is a little bit of an accident. The Stax recording studio was apparently in a disused cinema. Okay, movie theatre if you prefer. And, if you imagine the kind of layout of that kind of place, it's on a slope, isn't it, as the seats kind of slope up towards the back of the auditorium. And that created some kind of acoustical anomaly when they were recording that, there was a little bit of a lag between where the drums were and where the rest of the musicians were. And that caused this sort of slightly lazy behind the beat feel to a lot of these kind of things. And I don't care. I just know that Steve Cropper's perfect rhythm guitar playing on all those old Wilson Pickett, Sam and Dave, kind of Otis Redding, old classic soul things. It's just impeccable playing. He's the consummate rhythm guitarist, and just an absolute lesson to us all in just kind of really kind of staying in the pocket and just playing for the song. Yeah, had to be on the list. Next,
Rick Parfitt.
Yes, another Telecaster player. Again, Rick would occasionally trade a little bit of lead with Francis Rossi in many Status Quo songs. I mean, rocking all over the world. I think that starts, the solo on that starts with Rick playing some Chuck Berry-like double stops, but it soon kind of gives way to Francis wailing and bending strings and stuff. So, yeah. He was predominantly a rhythm guitar player, and when you think of that typical Status Quo kind of rhythm guitar part, that sort of Chuck Berry thing, where you're kind of doing that da 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 kind of thing down this end of the neck for song after song after song. That takes some stamina, especially when you're playing on what I think was it 12 gauge strings Rick used to play. And just always right in the groove, right in that rhythmic pocket of the song, and just driving everything along with, just a great, here's that word again, swagger to his playing. I really rated Rick as a rhythm guitar player. Sadly, no longer with us, but I don't know. Status Quo, well, last time I checked there was still a version of the band which is essentially, I think these days, just Francis Rossi plus assorted session musicians. And, you know, time takes its toll and age is a cruel mistress, but I think a lot of the reason why their kind of post-Rick Parfitt output that I've heard doesn't have that same sort of groove to it is largely because Rick's not there. And there you have it. But we've still got plenty of recordings to listen to of you know, live at the NEC, or you know the performance that they opened Live Aid with when I seem to remember Rick was doing the intro to Caroline, and the cameraman bumped into him and he can't put him right off his stroke. But yeah. Great consummate rock rhythm guitar player, not a virtuoso by any stretch of the imagination. He never claimed to be, but Status Quo just didn't sound the same without him. So there you go. Those are my 5 favourite rhythm guitar players. I was going to give an honourable mention to Pete Townsend because I think he needs to be on this list as well. But I think he's not in a 2-guitar band. Do you know what I mean? So he's kind of rhythm and lead equally, you know, with the stuff in the Who and what have you. So I was looking here predominantly at, you know, where there's 2 guitarists on stage and one of them is predominantly responsible for, you know, kind of chugging out the groove, and that governed my choices. Anyway, I'm sure you have a list of your own like this. I'd love to know what it is. Let me know down in the comments, and if you've enjoyed the video, please give me a like and a subscribe and hit the notification bell and all that sort of stuff. And don't forget the live stream on a Friday, every Friday in fact, 5 p.m. UK time, where we drink beer and just talk about stuff. It's a fantastic way, I think, to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.